Is Jesus in Genesis? Is Jesus anywhere in the Old Testament? No. Jesus is not found in Genesis or in the Old Testament. What does that say? I don't know. I don't need to do that. I don't believe. Do you understand the question? Or do you understand the statement? Do you understand the title? Is Jesus in the Genesis? Is Jesus in Genesis? No. Jesus is not in Genesis. Jesus is not in Exodus. Jesus is not in any book until you get to Matthew. That's when you will find Jesus. But let's just disregard Matthew and let's don't even look at Mark. Let's look at Luke. Luke is where you need to concentrate your attention to see if Jesus is anywhere. Because Jesus, according to what you read in Luke, is a name given by God to an angel. The angel's name is Gabriel. Get this down into your whatever you can put it in. Because if you don't know the truth, what do you know? Nothing at all. Mm-mm. If you don't know the truth, you don't know anything at all. That's I might should have titled this differently, but I didn't. Let me show you who is in Genesis. God is in Genesis. God is in Genesis. God is in Exodus. God is in the New Testament. God is in heaven today. He is. Jesus is in heaven today. He is. Jesus of Nazareth is in heaven today. There may be somebody in the United States, there may be somebody in Mexico named Jesus. But Jesus of Nazareth is in heaven. Today, I want you to understand, please, in this video today, I want you to understand that Jesus is in heaven. And understand this, or you understand nothing at all. President. President is a word. Few people have been president. Very few. George Washington, a president. Mhm. George Washington was a president. Today, there's only one president. Mhm. Donald J. Trump is president. I'm making a point. Mhm. No other country that I know of has a president. Mm-mm. England doesn't have a president. Canada doesn't have a president. As far as I know, and don't know everything, but I don't think that whoever rules Mexico goes by president. I could be wrong. But I do know the United States has a president, and I do know that Jesus of Nazareth was nowhere, anytime before Mary conceived a child in her womb. People need to know the truth. And I'm trying to tell you the truth sitting right here in this chair. Jesus is not in the Old Testament. Jesus of Nazareth, that is the Jesus that I'm talking about. And you see the shirt. I have worn a shirt like this. This is the 15th year that I've worn shirts such as you see that I have on today. I will wear these shirts, and if they wear out, I'll get another shirt because there's only one Father, there's one Jesus, and there's me, and there's you, and a billion more. But there's only one God. That's all, folks. There's only one God who is in heaven, and I will read for you in a minute from Daniel. 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 Mm. Daniel. People really don't know too much about words. They don't. But that's that's just how it is. But the word or the name Daniel was given to a Hebrew. A Hebrew. A son. Because you'll find out as I read and look through Daniel, you'll find out that Nebuchadnezzar gets to be a king over Jerusalem. There was only one city in all of the country over there called Jerusalem. There were other cities like Rome. Rome was there. And Rome is still a city. The Romans, do you know what? I'm not going to go there. I want you to know that Israel, the man that you know as Israel, his name was Jacob, but God changed his name to Israel. Mhm. God did that. Jesus did not change his name. God changed Jacob's name to Israel and made him a promise. And Jacob had 12 sons. He had 11 of them before he got to where he was going. When he met Esau, as he returned from where he had been, he had two companies of people. You can read these things if you will read Genesis. I'm not reading Genesis. What I'm going to read, I'm going to begin and I'm going to read in Daniel. 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 Daniel chapter 1. I want Daniel chapter 1. So, Daniel chapter 1 begins this way. In the third year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came to Jerusalem and besieged it. That's how Daniel begins. The Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand, along with some of the vessels of the house of God. And he brought them to the land of Shinar, to the house of his God. And he brought the vessels into the treasury of his God. Now you see, the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into the hands of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. So you had the king of Judah, and you got the king of Babylon. And the king ordered his officials to bring some of the sons of Israel, that's Jacob's sons of Israel. Jacob's name was changed to Israel, and this is one of Jacob's sons, Judah. And the king had a leader or one in charge to give food to these young men who have shown signs of brilliance. That's what it amounts to. And these four, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, were the four that were brought from the sons of Judah. Judah was a son of Israel, Jacob, prior to his name changed. Are you following along here? Now, Daniel made up his mind that he was not going to eat the king's choice food or drink his wine. And the man in charge was afraid of the king because he knew that the king could have his head taken off at any time. That's what kings do. Kings remove the heads of individuals that they don't want around. Mhm. And Joseph was one of the sons of Jacob. But now we're finding Daniel years later. And Daniel is with his 4 young men, and he's going to be taught for 3 years. And but they got tested after 10 days. And at the end of 10 days, these 4 were looking better to the eyes of the man in charge. But look, God gave them. Daniel chapter 1, verse 17. God gave them. Who are them? The 4 boys, the 4 young men that are and have been taken over to be taught some things. God gave them knowledge and intelligence. In other words, God gave them wisdom. And Daniel understood visions and dreams. These 4 youths, God gave knowledge and intelligence, gave them wisdom. Jesus hasn't given anybody anything at all. Pay attention. At the end of the 10 days, they presented them before Nebuchadnezzar. They had not seen Nebuchadnezzar until this day. And the king talked with them. And out of them all, not one was found like. In other words, they brought a lot of young men to see the king. But none of them were as wise as Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. And at some point in time, they entered into the king's personal service. That's Daniel 1:19. As for every matter of wisdom and understanding about which the king consulted them, they were found, or he was found, 10 times better than all the magicians and the conjurers in all his realm. And Daniel continued until the first year of Cyrus the king. Then you get chapter 2. You do. But in chapter 2, you're going to find out about the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, having dreams, and he was troubled in his sleep. And the king gave orders that all of the men that were supposed to be wise, called magicians and conjurers, the sorcerers, and the Chaldeans, to come and stand before him, where the king said, I had a dream and my spirit. What he said, it was, I had a dream and I want to know what it means. I want to understand the dream. And these Chaldeans spoke in Aramaic and said, O king, live forever. Tell the dream to your servants, and we will declare the interpretation. To which the king replied to them, and I'm sure he was speaking Aramaic. He commanded and said, if you do not make known to me the dream and its interpretation, you'll be torn limb from limb, and your houses will be made a rubbish heap. Do you understand what I'm trying to do here today, folks? While I'm sitting in this chair. If you declare the dream and explain this to me, I will give you gifts and great honor. So tell me the dream and its interpretation. They replied, yeah, you tell us the dream and we'll tell you. And the king said, no, that's not what I said. He said, I told you what would happen to you, and the command doesn't change. If you do not make the dream known to me, there's only one decree for you. Therefore, tell me the dream that I may know what you can do. Tell it to me. And the reply is heard. There's not a man on earth. There's not a man on earth who could declare the matter. There's not one on earth that could do this, king. And no king or ruler has ever asked anything like this of any of the sorcerers or Chaldean. They said the thing which the king demands is difficult, and there's no one else who could declare it except God's, whose dwelling place is not with mortal or with flesh. That means these gods are in heaven. Are you learning anything today about Jesus or about God? If you're not, what can I say? And at this, the king became indignant and furious and gave orders to destroy all the wise men. And guess what? 4 of the wise men, the young men, were Daniel and his 3 friends. And they came and looked for Daniel and his friends to kill them. That's what it says right here, Daniel 2:13. And Daniel replies to Arioch, the captain of the king's bodyguard, who had gone forth to slay the wise men of Babylon. And he said to Arioch, why why do you think you need to carry this thing out hastily? Why so urgent? And Daniel requested, so take this to the king. Make this request I'm giving you to the king. Give me time and order that I might make and declare this to the king. And Daniel went to his house, informed his friends, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, and guess what? So that they might request compassion from the God of heaven. Who did they turn to? Did they turn to Jesus? No, they didn't turn to Jesus. Oh, how have we been led to believe things? They turned to the God of heaven concerning this mystery, so that they would not be destroyed with the wise men of Babylon. And the mystery was revealed to Daniel in a night vision. And Daniel blessed the God of heaven. Listen, whoever you are that's seeing me make this video today, listen carefully to me. The God of heaven is not Jesus. And Daniel said in chapter 2, verse 20, let God be blessed forever and ever. Let God be blessed forever and ever. Of course, it's written here. Let the name of God be blessed forever and ever. What did I say? What did I say? Let God be blessed forever and ever, for wisdom and power belong to him. Look, oh misled ones, if you believe that Jesus revealed anything to Daniel, I tell you today in this video, you have been deceived. And Daniel says, he who changes the times and the epochs, he removes kings and establishes kings. He gives wisdom to wise men and knowledge to men of understanding. Who does this? It's not Jesus of Nazareth that does this. Can you hear my voice? How determined I am that you know the truth about who does this. Who? The God in heaven that revealed to Daniel. That's who. And the God in heaven is not Jesus of Nazareth. He who reveals the profound and hidden things knows what's in the darkness. The light dwells with him. You may not know what darkness and light is, but I do. I truly do. To you, O God of my fathers, I give thanks and praise. For you have given me wisdom and power. Even now you have made known to me the request we made known to you. And you have made known to us the king's matter. And Daniel went to Arioch, the king, the man that the king had appointed to destroy the wise men of Babylon, and said these words to him. Don't do it. Don't do it. Do you understand? Don't do it. Do not destroy the wise men of Babylon. Take me to the king's presence, and I will declare to the king the interpretation of his dream. And Arioch was glad to do this because Arioch did not want to kill these young men. Do you understand me today as I make this video sitting in this chair? He brought him into the king's presence and spoke to him as follows. I have found this man from Judah who can make known to you what you ask. And the king said to Daniel, whom he had come and given the name Belteshazzar, are you able to make known to me the dream that I have seen? And Daniel speaks and says, as for the mystery about which you asked, the wise men and conjurers and magicians, the diviners, were not able to declare. However, listen to these words. However, there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries, and he has made known to King Nebuchadnezzar what will take place in the latter days. Here is your dream and what it means. However, what did it say? It doesn't say there is a Lord Jesus in heaven who reveals mysteries. How many of you are upset with what I say? Do you think Jesus is in heaven revealing mysteries to men? I hope that's not what you think. But Daniel was given, and he says, it says here, you, O king, were looking, and behold, there was a single great statue. And that statue, which was large and of extraordinary splendor, was standing in front of you. and its appearance was awesome. The head of that statue of fine gold, its breast and its arms of silver, its belly and its thighs of bronze, its legs of iron, its feet partly of iron and partly of clay. How did Daniel know this? The God of heaven revealed it. It wasn't Jesus of Nazareth. And he goes on, you continued looking until a stone was cut out without hands, and it struck the statue on its feet of iron and clay and crushed. Then the iron, the clay, the bronze, the silver, and the gold were crushed. All at once, like chaff from the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried it away, and not a trace was found. But this stone that struck the statue became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. Do you understand? The stone that struck the statue? Oh, yes, O king. Yeah. O king, you, O king, are the king of kings, to whom God, the God of heaven, has given the kingdom, the power, the strength, and the glory. And wherever the sons of men dwell, or the beasts of the field, or the birds of the sky, he has given them into your hand and has caused you to rule over them. You are the head of gold. And then Daniel goes on and he tells some more. And then in the days of those kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom which will never be destroyed. Who's going to set up this kingdom? Is Jesus setting up this kingdom? Who is setting up this kingdom that won't be destroyed? Tell me who. Do you know who? It will crush and put an end to these kingdoms, but it will itself endure forever. And listen to what else. You can read it. The king fell on his face and did homage to Daniel and gave orders to present him an offering and fragrant incense. And Daniel said, listen to this. Daniel, surely the king answered Daniel and said, this is the words of the king to Daniel. Surely your God is a God of gods and a Lord of kings and a revealer of mysteries. You have done it. Then the king promoted Daniel and gave him many great gifts and made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon. Made him ruler and put him over all the wise men. And Daniel requested of the king, I want Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to be rulers over the province of Babylon while I sit in your court. Okay? Okay? 41 minutes. How many people will see this video? I don't have a clue. But if you do, I believe I have enabled comments on replays. You want to comment? Make the comment. If you want to know more, you can. I know. I know. And I cannot boast. Uh-uh. The God of heaven is not and will never be Jesus. Got it? Did you hear what I said? I think it's pretty plain. I will watch the video. I will see how it looks, but I'm not going to remove it. No. I won't remove it, but I will watch it. And I'll watch it before noon today. Will you have anything to say? How would I possibly? Well, there's a way. And this is the end of this video now.